All right, what's up, everybody? Episode 2 of the Starting 5 podcast. We got 4 guys today. Our roster has expanded a little bit. We got a little bit of a bench going on. Some role players, coming in. Today, Artin and Michael, we are returning. And then we got Hadi. Hadi, introduce yourself. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Hey, I'm Hadi. I am 19 years old. I go to Western University. And, yeah, that's about it.
Hadi, who's better? Who's thicker, Harden or Lowry?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Lowry now or Lowry 2 years ago?
Prime thick Lowry.
Oh, no one is thicker than Prime. No, it's Lowry. It's got to be Lowry.
Let me answer that question. Harden is a barrel, all right? He's got the barrel body, but Lowry's thick.
Lowry's, yeah.
Our other new guy, his name is Cole. Cole, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yo, what's going on, everyone out there? My name's Cole Ferrier, coming to you live from the 6, aka Toronto, Canada. And I go to Ryerson University for accounting and finance, and I'm 18 years old.
Big man. Cole, are you sad that Joe Budden left Everyday Struggle?
I'm sad, but I got to give it out to DJ Academics. I love that guy.
Yo, doesn't DJ Academics look like Eric Gordon's little brother?
Low-key. Yeah.
All right. So basically, since we first started the podcast, we've been sort of switching up the structure. We got a new structure. We're gonna go through a little bit of news, and a couple of us are gonna answer, do our fantasy check-in, and then we'll do a few big topics on which we talk about everything that's going on, and then we'll finish it off with role play of the week, hot takes, and something topical for the week. All right. Artin's gonna lead us in with the news. So Artin,
All right, let's go. First up, Jason Kidd was fired from the Milwaukee Bucks. A lot of people were unhappy after what looked like a breakout season last year. They haven't been doing too well, or as well as people wanted them to anyway. Mike, what do you think?
I think it was the right move. I understand that he was a player's coach and they really loved him. But at this point, I mean, you've got Giannis, Chris Middleton, Brogdon, Bledsoe, Tony Snell, John Henson, all guys that are great, like not great defenders, but they're long. They can switch on defense. They're perfect for this modern era. And they were 25th in defensive efficiency. I mean, it's unacceptable, really. That team should have been a top 3 team in the East, and I think with the turmoil of the Cavs, they should be a team that should be considered to be getting out of the East, given the fact they have a top 10 player on their team and 2 other pretty good guys, especially when Jabari gets back, another all-star caliber player, and instead they couldn't figure it out on defense when that should have been their calling, and I think that's why he's been fired, and I think he should be fired for it, because he wasn't doing enough with the talent he had, and I hope they get David Fizdale, because he could be like the really sort of hard-nosed and no bullshit guy they need in the locker room to make that a really stout defensive team.
Nice, yeah. I think a more experienced coach could really use the length to their advantage. Hadi, what do you think?
Yeah, I was pretty split on it. I definitely agree they should be doing better, but at the same time, at the back of my mind, I just keep thinking it's so important with your star player to have that relationship and that trust. And with Giannis, it really does seem like he was kind of crushed, and Jason Kidd acted as, like, I guess sort of a father to him, coming to the Bucks and just helping him develop. So I think they're gonna have to make sure that they do get a coach. Let's say they get David Fizdale, that he creates that relationship to keep Giannis and keep a good environment for him, or else it's not going to be good. But they definitely have the roster. Maybe they can add a big man, but it's tough. But I think it was the right decision.
Yeah, I just want to add that I think Jason Kidd is a great developing, like a guy who develops players really well. Like he's obviously like turned Chris Middleton to a 20.5 rebound, 5 assist guy. He turned Giannis into just a physical freak, but an all-around player who can make plays as a ball handler. And he turned Malcolm Brogdon into like the ideal role player. And they were working on Thon Maker. And so I think he has to be commended for that, but he's just not a great tactician. He's been doing that trapping offense, the trapping defense for so long. He's not great at adjusting. So I think there's a place for Jason Kidd in the NBA as a trainer, as someone who can develop your young guys, because he's proven that he's able to turn them into stars. But at this point, it's like, I don't know if he wasn't doing what he had to do. And I think if the Bucks can't figure out a coach as good as Jason Kidd in terms of the relationship with Giannis, they should try and get him back on the staff as something, even if it means overpaying him as an assistant. But, you don't want him to walk in 3 years and end up playing, on the Warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a thin line they're on. All right, let's move on to the next piece of news. Kemba Walker is now on the trade market. Very good all-star caliber point guard, and he's on a pretty good contract, so a lot of teams could pick him up. Cole, did you have anywhere in mind?
I know some people kind of said Denver Nuggets, but personally, I believe he'd be a pretty good fit with the Pelicans. Because what is Kemba Walker going to give you? He's going to give you mostly points, right? He's going to be that nice third option with Cousins and what's the name? Anthony Davis, and he's going to be that third option, that last scoring threat that they need on their starting lineup, and he's just going to mix it up for the team.
Nice, Mike. You have a different opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's almost like a dream to like insert Kemba into like the Pelicans lineup, because it would just give them like that big three that you need to compete. But at the end of the day, like, they'd probably have to give up Drew. They'd have to give up Drew Holiday.
Yeah, for sure.
You're getting an upgrade, obviously, because Kemba Walker is basically like the next best thing from Kyrie Irving in terms of his like skill set. But at this, like, he is like, you still lose your fourth. Well, who would be your fourth best player to get your third best player? So I don't know if it's that great of a thing. To me, I like the Nuggets thing. I think the Nuggets have to make a decision. Do we want to compete now or later? And if they want to compete now, because they'd have to probably give up Jamal Murray and then use Kenneth Faried as a match, just because Murray's been playing so well and he might be at like a sell-high moment in his career at this point, young, scoring a lot of points. I wouldn't touch Gary Harris, because Gary Harris could be like your Klay Thompson type 2-guard who hits threes, can create a little bit, and play great defense. Obviously, they're not going to trade Millsap or Jokic. And I thought until like yesterday that the Spurs would be perfect, but I mean, look, DeJounte Murray had 20, 10, and 7 steals.
Yeah, he's been playing insane.
Yeah, he's gonna be a starting caliber point guard. He's big, he's long. I mean, and he honestly might. I wouldn't trade him solely for the fact that he's really, really good friends with LeBron. And a LeBron-led Spurs team, should Kawhi get better, will be the single biggest threat to the Warriors since they formed the super team. So I don't think they'd give up DeJounte, who would be who the Hornets would want. So I'd say Denver maybe. I think maybe the Knicks, but the Knicks have to know that they'd probably have to trade Ntilikina, and that the second round would probably be their cap in the next few years, even if they had Porzingis and Kemba Walker. But I don't know. A lot of the good teams in the NBA who are looking to make that last step already have a point guard, and a lot of the bad teams don't have a young guy. So it's hard to see where he would go, but he's definitely an asset if Jordan can stop asking for all-star players, because he obviously doesn't know how to rebuild a team.
I think the Spurs are interesting because if somehow LeBron ends up there, it's going to be next season because he's in free agency, right? So do you want to use LeBron while you can and get someone who's in the prime of their career, really, like Kemba Walker, or do you want to keep developing DeJounte Murray, right? Speaking of the Cavs, what's going on with the Cavs? They're second last in defense right now. They're losing left, right, and center.
They're still going to the Eastern semifinals though.
Oh right, they're gonna lose to the Heat. They're gonna lose to the Heat. That's what's gonna happen. I forgot.
Hadi, what do you think's going on with the Cavs right now?
Honestly, I mean, I don't think this is a new story. This has happened, maybe not to this extent, but it's happened last year. I'm pretty sure it happened 2 years ago. They seem to have this dip, and they always. And I think a big part of this is the reporting, just trying to think of or just getting snippets of turmoil in the locker room. Although I think this year it actually is more pronounced. But I think, I don't know. Okay, this is an interesting stat. Out of the 417 qualified NBA players in January, LeBron is dead last in plus minus in January. So when you have your star player just not performing at the level he usually does, in fact, much, much worse, I mean, of course it's going to be tough. But as much as I hate to say it, I really do think they're just going to turn the switch And by playoff season, I think they're going to be rolling, especially if IT starts playing better and they start getting their act together on defense.
All right, so Hadi thinks that they can still flip it back. Mike, do you think it's too far?
I think, look, they're old. Like, I think their roster is stacked in the worst way. Like, everybody on their team does not complement LeBron at all. They all need the ball in their hands. None of them play defense. They're old. Like, to me, the only guys they shouldn't be looking to trade is 4 guys. LeBron, obviously. Kyle Korver, because he just fits perfectly as a shooter for LeBron. I don't think they should trade Dwayne Wade because he's a great sixth man type guy. And I don't think they should trade Kevin Love because, honestly, every year we get the same bullshit about how Kevin Love is like the weak link and he's soft and he can't play. Kevin Love always is the second or third best player on this team. I think if you can get Kemba Walker for Isaiah Thomas, you should trade Isaiah Thomas for Kemba. He seems to be poison. They were great before he came into the game. Came into like the team as like a healthy player. Now they're struggling. He doesn't play any defense. He's not even trying anymore. At least he tried with Brad Stevens. He obviously is still salty about not playing in Boston. He seems like a cancer to the team. Jay Crowder doesn't care. I was watching the Spurs-Cavs game last night. Kyle Anderson and Davis Bertans, they look like Russell Westbrook getting by Jay Crowder. Like, he did not move. They would freeze him. He doesn't look good. None of these guys look good. Move them all. If you can get Andre Drummond and Avery Bradley, I think that's the best one. And then if you got to get rid of, IT. Like, if you can get IT and like Tristan and JR, flip them all the Cavs for the corners for Batum and Kemba, and then somehow get Drummond and Avery Bradley. I know that's a whole like new starting lineup. I'd still do it because they just need a change. Like, they need to flip the personnel to two-way guys that don't need the ball to be good, and that's what Bradley and Batum are. Even though Batum can need the ball at times, and then Kemba can be your Kyrie type second scorer, and Drummond can just be big around the rim. But other than that, like it's funny because I even though I hate on the Raptors, they're probably the best example of a team that should be built like LeBron should be built around. Nobody needs to be dribbling a lot, so we can do all that. They all play defense, and they can all hit shots. That's all you need, and the Cavs have like 2 of those. So I don't know. I think the Celtics are still the best team in the East at this point. I think the Heat are getting close because they play that nice little like Pistons 04 offense, but they gotta stop blaming Kevin Love every year. He's great. He chokes against Draymond, but against the other 28 teams, he's really good.
It's interesting. You said a lot of names that the Cavs should think about signing. We haven't really heard any of those, but someone who we have heard in a lot of trade rumors with the Cavs is Lou Will. And he actually made history the other day. First player since Michael Jordan to get 30 points and 10 steals in a game. And he wasn't the only crazy stat line we saw. We saw Cousins get a 40 and 20 triple-double, which is insane. So, Cole, what do you think of all these crazy stat lines?
Well, this is absolutely insane. You're putting DeMarcus Cousins in the same speech as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wilt Chamberlain, Oscar Robertson, Elgin Baylor. And you know what's the common thing between all those guys except for DeMarcus is? They're all in the Hall of Fame. That's insane. That's a crazy stat line. Hopefully he could go to a team that actually has some sort of, direction towards getting to the finals. Because I'd like to see him. Has he been in the playoffs yet? I don't think he's been in a playoff game yet.
New Orleans has been good though. They're in 6th. I think they're a game away from OKC. They could go to the second round.
Yeah, but personally, I believe he should go to the East. Boogie Cousins should go to Cleveland. How nice would that be? Yeah,
that'd be game over.
That would be
That's what we need.
Incredible.
A locker room where everyone's fighting. Put DeMarcus Cousins in the locker room. That would fix things.
Yeah, he'll just do all the fighting, and then everyone else will be calm. It'll be great.
Yeah, he'd probably throw Isaiah Thomas across the room with one hand.
It's interesting what you said about Boogie being compared to all these Hall of Famers. But Hadi, what do you think of Sweet Lou and Michael Jordan?
Oh man, I have a special spot for Sweet Lou. It's just.
We all do.
Yeah, exactly. He's going off with the Clippers. He's found his rhythm. 10 steals, I mean, I don't know. I don't remember if that was Draymond had 9 steals, I think, last year or something. But
No, he had
Yeah,
a
it
triple
was
double,
just-
but he had 8 points. Like he could have got a quadruple double.
oh, that's the
That's the
one.
one.
Yeah, yeah. So it was that, and he's just. I mean, obviously in the same speech as Michael Jordan, you can't do that. But it's with this stat line and just the way he's been playing. I think, to be honest, I haven't taken a close look at the West All Star reserves, but he easily could have been placed there, and I think he's playing extremely well. I don't know his contract exactly, but I mean he's a great asset that as we've said, Cleveland could and should definitely look at.
Speaking of All-Star reserves, someone who got a lot more votes than expected was Kawhi Leonard. Even though he's been injured pretty much the whole season, I think he's probably played like 5 games this season, maybe less. And well, apparently the team's not happy with his injuries. There's been reports of a disconnect with his team. What do you think of that, Mike?
I think that it's the Spurs, so I'm not going to pretend to be scared that something's going wrong. Look, Tim Duncan was like a phone call away from leaving at one point. Aldridge was pissed last year. What happens after every single time one of these guys is cheesed? The Spurs meet with them, and then they end up having like their best year after. Like I think after Duncan almost went to the Magic to join Tracy McGrady, like, and that was the same problem. It was that Tim Duncan felt like the Spurs couldn't sign anyone that could complement him, so he wanted to leave, and so he ended up staying. And they drafted Ginobili and Parker, and they ended up winning a bunch of rings. And I think Aldridge, he was kind of jealous of Kawhi. Talked to him. They figured it out. Having his best season. They'll figure it out. Kawhi will get healthy. And he'll probably come back and be what he was last year, which is the best player in the league. And, the Spurs will be fine. The Spurs are going to be the Spurs until Pop retires. And that might be, in 2 or 3 years. But for these next 2 or 3 years, they'll be the Spurs. And I think the most underrated aspect that we haven't looked at, or people haven't looked at in the Kawhi thing, is that he might be thinking, I'm hurt and Pop's retiring. Should I really be here? Right? In that case, I'm not saying you should trade DeMar and Kyle Lowry for Kawhi Leonard, the best player in the NBA in the prime of his career, but I'm not saying you shouldn't not trade for him. Or, Houston should go get him or something. Or even Portland would be kind of cool to see him on. But someone like that. I think if he's worried about Pop retiring, teams should inquire, but I think everything's going to be fine until.
Well, you talk about Kawhi coming back better because of this disconnect, like a lot of other Spurs players. Hadi, what are your thoughts on Kawhi Leonard coming back better than before? And side question, would he be better than LeBron?
Well, to be honest, yeah, I agree fully with Michael, just with the beginning part of this question. I think this is a non-issue. I think it's just things that, reporters are reaching for. In terms of him coming back better, it's interesting. It's tough with injuries because this is his quad. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a quad injury. So, I mean, I think, the Spurs, they're an excellent organization. I'm sure they've got the guys on it. Exactly. If Kawhi's in his prime, Pop, as Michael said, he has some years left in him. This is the chance. This is now to make the push. So honestly, I think it will be fine. Kawhi will come back. If he's fully healed, I don't think there's going to be, we're not going to see, let's put it this way, we're not going to see any deficiencies in his game from his injury when he comes back.
Hadi, I'm sorry
Yeah.
to butt in. You didn't answer the question. Will he be better than LeBron?
I know, I was just getting that. I was getting to that.
Oh, sorry.
LeBron retired.
No, it's okay, it's okay.
What are you guys talking about? LeBron's retired. He's done.
Will he be better than LeBron?
I mean, it's got to be a yes, right?
I don't know why anyone would say yes. Personally,
I don't know.
He's 34, playing point guard or whatever for the Spurs next year when Kawhi comes back and averages 35. That's just what it's going to be. Okay. That's the bottom line. And they're gonna beat the Warriors in 5, and they're gonna beat the Celtics in 4. That's just what's gonna happen. Okay, and then the second dynasty will be born. Kawhi, LeBron.
Should have saved that for a hot take.
That's not even a hot take, bro.
DeJounte.
That's a cold
DeJounte
take, bro.
Murray.
That's a cold take, bro. Patty Mills, elite. Patty Mills, 3 inches taller, and he's
so we agree that the Kawhi disconnect isn't a big deal. Here's one that kind of came out of nowhere. Dame Lillard requests a meeting with the team owner to talk about the direction of the franchise. That's someone who always talked about wanting to stay loyal and wanting to stay with that team. So Cole, what do we think of that?
Personally, I don't see much impact on it. Players, especially all-star players, franchise-building players, always are going to meet with the team owner about where the team is going. Obviously, the Trailblazers haven't done the greatest job in assigning new talent to the team to actually make their team better as a whole. They've worked kind of at building Lillard more as a player, but yeah, I don't see much danger in this news line here.
Mike, do you think it would be a mistake to rebuild that team when you have players like Dame and CJ McCollum in the backcourt?
I think the Dame CJ McCollum thing is just really tough because neither of them are big enough to play defense. So you have to surround them with a bunch of defenders, and then they can't, and just hope that Dame and CJ can score 25 a night. But the main thing I worry about the Blazers is that they have no cap flexibility because they've been giving out a lot of bad contracts. I know Evan Turner's being paid a ridiculous amount. I think Mo Harkless, they gave a big contract. So I'm not. If you look at it, I'm just reading it now. Evan Turner, $17 million a year. Myers Leonard, $10 million a year. Mo Harkless, $9 million a year. Al-Farouq Aminu, $7 million a year. These are all really, and these are all locked to 20. These those 3 big ones: Harkless, Myers Leonard, Evan Turner. That's till 2020. They're not getting out of those. So what Dame's probably saying is, you got all these mid players, these guys that aren't making a lot of impact. They're role players are not great ones. Where are we going? Are we going to be the 6, 7, 8 seed for 5 years? Because that's not good. That's not going to look good on my legacy, right? That's not getting me into the Hall of Fame. And so I'm sure it wasn't get me out of here, but I'm sure it was hey, I'm not loving it. You better fix something, or else I might be out of here. When my contract's up, or maybe even earlier, because I'm not about to spend my whole prime, playing the Warriors or the Spurs or the Rockets in round 1 and losing in 6.
Right? Yeah, makes sense. All right, next topic. Something that's been a pretty big deal around the league right now. Fines being handed out all over the place because of the players' complaints and the coaches' complaints about referee performance. I think it's been awful, honestly. The games that I've seen, the referees have really been noticeably bad. Hadi, what do you think of all this?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's of course with referees, you got to give them some leeway. They of course have to make tough calls, but it's just been ridiculous. Exactly. You can see it, how they're making these mistakes, and when all these players, all these coaches, all these fans, when everyone is saying that they are doing a bad job, they have to take a look at themselves and see what they're doing. So hopefully they're going to do that. I mean, when you have these, for example, the call with Giannis when he stepped out but got the dunk and won the game, things like that, and then it happened again with LeBron. They have to. I don't know what it is, to be honest. I can't pinpoint the exact, I guess, problem or what they're missing, but I don't know. They're gonna have to fix it because it's getting worse and worse.
Yeah, because even I feel like the guidelines to be allowed to review a play, it's ridiculous. You should just be able to review a play if it's questionable.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, what do you think? What do you think the NBA should do about this? Because right now it feels like they're not doing anything and they're just throwing out fines. But if there's this many people complaining, then maybe they should think about doing more, right?
Yeah, I mean, to me, what I think they should do is they should follow football and baseball and throw a challenge flag in. Or not a flag, I guess, but something about challenging a call. So basically, like any call, whatever, except for maybe like a shooting foul, because like then you could just throw them. But what it would be was, once a half you can challenge, or twice. Yeah, once a half you can challenge a play, and whether it's a violation or a block versus charge, and if you get it wrong, you lose your timeout. Because that way they don't just throw a challenge flag to get an extra timeout. But if not, the ball can be returned. That way, OKC wins a game. I don't know if the LeBron Kevin KD thing, like, I don't know if you can review stuff like that, because I feel like that might draw out games. But I understand why you'd want to do that. But yeah, I think if they included a challenge flag in it, it would not only make the refs pay attention more, because you don't want to be proved wrong by a coach, which is like the worst thing ever for a ref. And it would make the games more interesting, and make sure like the margin for error not the margin for error, but the margin of a bad call losing a game would change would decrease significantly.
Well, our last news topic of the day. LeBron hit 30,000 points the other day, which is insane. Congratulations to him. That's ridiculous.
LeBron better than Jordan James, man.
Okay, let's chill out here.
LeBron, Michael Jordan is Chris Middleton with a gambling problem, and LeBron
Jeffrey Jordan.
Come on, Cole, you're probably the biggest LeBron fan out of us four. Where do you think this puts him in the all-time rankings?
Before this, I already knew LeBron James was the greatest player of all time. But that's neither here nor there. That's not the topic of it. The topic is LeBron James, 30,000 points.
All right, then what do you have to say about LeBron James, 30,000 points?
A fantastic accomplishment. What more can be said? The only thing I don't like is this man, the day before he hit 30,000, went on Instagram and made a post from his prior younger self, congratulating his future self on his accomplishment. That's a little bit too much, but you're LeBron James. You have a persona you have to show people and the media all the time, and you know what? Shouts out to LeBron.
Listen, the great prophet Nabadius Wilburn, otherwise known by his stage name Future, he said something. You know what he said? He said, "You do what you want when you're popping," and he did what he wanted. He did whatever he wanted.
All right, let's hear
sorry. I just want to say one more thing. Sorry about that. Michael talked earlier about legacy with Damian Lillard, and I want to talk a little bit about LeBron, because when players first come in the league, they want to make a name for themselves. That's what they want to do. They want to get all the media attention, build up their brand. That's what the new NBA is, building your brand, right? When players get to the stage when they're on the edge of their prime, they look and they say to themselves, okay, how many more championships am I going to win? How much longer do I have in the NBA? And how are people going to remember me? What is my legacy? And I feel like LeBron is focusing a little bit too much on his legacy and not enough about the current position of his team and whether or not they'll actually win or not.
I agree.
It's an interesting point of view. Now let's hear a non-bandwagon, non-biased point of view from Hadi. Hadi, what do you think about LeBron's accomplishments, and where do you think this puts him all time?
No, I mean, of course, this is an amazing accomplishment. He's averaging 27 points per game this season, his high scoring average since the 2013-14 season. The thing that is really, really incredible with LeBron is just his durability. He's one of, if not the most durable athletes of all time. He takes such good care of his body. He plays at a high level, and I don't know. I mean, I agree. I agree with the Instagram post may have been a bit much, but I mean, when I saw it, I was a bit confused because I thought he already got it at that point. But yeah, in terms of all time, of course, he cemented himself as one of the all-time greats. I mean, I don't know. I think it's just there's just so many factors and so many variables. It's tough to compare, but he's definitely great job to him. We'll see how he does this season. And
just
also
the fact that he has his name in the running comparing to Michael Jordan, who most people would say is, without a doubt the number one. I think that's a good accomplishment on its own.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Michael Jordan is not even good at basketball, bro.
He's good at gambling.
LeVar Ball could beat Michael Jordan in a one-on-one game, and you're telling me he's better than LeBron? Okay. Whatever you say.
Just quickly, LeBron has to average 20 points for 5 more seasons playing at least 70 games. You think it's going to be done to beat Kareem?
What, to beat the all-time points?
Yeah. He would honestly go to the Nets right now if he could just average 30 for like 4 more years. Like, that's all he cares about. Even though I'm not going to lie.
I think he can play 5 more years.
The Nets and LeBron, bro, I don't know who would be better. LeBron and Wade, Kyrie and Wade, or Dinwiddie and LeBron, bro?
Dinwiddie.
Dinwiddie gets buckets.
That's an excellent.
Come on,
excellent player.
don't buy into the media hype. Come on, guys. He's played well for 8 straight games. Come on, man.
No,
Dinwiddie's the real deal.
He's the second coming of Ish Smith. This is his reincarnation.
Ish Smith is the second coming of Ish Smith.
Ish Smith 2018 is the second coming of Ish Smith 2017.
Hot
really quickly before we move on, what was a bigger baller move this year? Okay. KCP going to jail but still playing in games? Or the NBA's league leader in buzzer beaters being Spencer Dinwiddie? He has 3. He's had 3 game winners this year. I think I'm going to go with KCP still, though.
Yeah, I got Contavious. That's the ball is life right there.
I was under the assumption that the team didn't even know he was in jail until like later on.
That's amazing.
Like he was just showing up to practices and then he was like leaving and he was just going to jail.
That's amazing. Bro, imagine like Kyle Kuzma's like, hey man, like you trying to like come over and run 2K and he's like, nah, I gotta go to jail, bro.
Or he's like, yeah, come over to my cell and we'll run.
I see his cell though, it's like in a prison that you can buy and it looks like a hotel room, so shout out to him. He had like he had a nice prison. There's like a little grocery store in there, a gym. It's pretty good.
That's jokes.
Okay, moving on. Artin, thank you very much for going through the news. We're going to go into our fantasy check-in. So with all the crazy trade movers going around, I just want you guys to run through one player that you think could benefit from a star trade in fantasy. Maybe not in real life, they're still not good, but in fantasy. Hadi?
Could you come back to me? I'm going to think about it.
Yeah, no problem. Artin?
All right. Player that can benefit from a trade. Will benefit, I don't know, but someone who could definitely be affected is Kemba Walker. I took him second round, and honestly, he's been pretty disappointing. I haven't been very happy with him. He hasn't been bad. That's the thing. That's why I'm struggling to say benefit, but he's been disappointing. And so I'm interested to see maybe he goes to another team and he can get back to where he was last season, which was probably the best season of his career. And I'd like to see if he can get back to that because I haven't been too happy with him.
All right, Cole, what do you say?
I'll probably go with an easy one. I'll just say Kevin Love. Kevin Love, he's with Isaiah Thomas right now. Everyone knows when they're on the court together, they both don't play well. When either one is on the court by themselves, they're playing a bit better when either of them is off the court. So maybe if Kevin Love goes to a different team, we see a Timberwolves-like season, rest of the season for him in fantasy.
That'd be crazy. For me personally, I think I'm gonna go back to the Kemba Walker trade. I think that Jeremy Lamb and Malik Monk, I think they could get a lot more runs. I think Jeremy Lamb, 25 years old, he's having the best year of his career, averaging 14 points a game. I think he could take over as like one of the primary ball handlers in like a CJ McCollum type role. And then I also got Malik Monk as a guy when they go into tank mode who can just come in, be Lou Williams Jr. and just jack threes and do whatever because that's what he's basically coming to the NBA for. Another guy that I look at that could really, really benefit, I feel like, would be De'Aaron Fox, because with George Hill probably going to Cleveland, there's nobody else on the team to take point guard minutes from him. And so I think he's going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting, playing 35, 40 minutes a night with their youth movement, and he could be a really good fantasy asset, especially as he in a dynasty league. All right, Hadi, you got yours?
Yep. I'm actually gonna say Jaylen Brown. I think right now he's averaging 14 points, but I'm trying to think of a team. I just would be interested to see him have a bigger role in the team. I think he does have the talent just to get up there, score, in the high teens or get 20. So I think that'd be interesting to see it would be very good for my team.
They wouldn't give him away for Kyrie, so I think they're not giving him up unless they go for Anthony Davis because he's so young. I wouldn't be surprised if Horford and Hayward went for Anthony Davis before Horford and Jaylen Brown because they seem to love him out there. All right, moving on. We're gonna do the couple big topics right now. First one. So, like usual, the Golden State Warriors are cheesing. They're playing the NBA on rookie mode. They're too good for the rest of the league. They need to it's silly to watch them play. Their offense is perfect. Their defense is perfect. And something that, people talk about a lot is Kevin Durant better than LeBron? Just because, Durant become such a great has become such a great all-around player. He's a great shot blocker. He can guard 1 through 5. And I think when it comes to natural or athletic talent, you can make a real claim for it. However, basketball isn't just about your physical aspects. It's about the mental game, and in my opinion, and the opinion of a lot of other people, Kevin Durant is one of the mentally weakest superstars we've ever seen. Compare that to Steph Curry, who might be one of the smartest basketball players of all time. Given the fact that he is a 30-point, 2-time MVP, 30-point a game, greatest shooter of all time, and he can barely get a shot up against bigger guys, in theory. So what we're going to debate right now, I don't know if it's going to be a debate, but we're going to talk about is who is better, who is more valuable, and who would you rather have on your team? Steph, if you were drafting a team to go and build a franchise with, Steph Curry or Kevin Durant? So, I'm just going to ask you guys quickly, give me yes or no answers, and then we'll discuss, all right? All right, Artin, who is better, Kevin Durant or Steph Curry?
I think as an all-around player, Kevin Durant is a better player.
Who is more valuable to the Warriors, Kevin Durant or Steph Curry?
Steph Curry is 100% more valuable to the Warriors.
If you were drafting a franchise right now, where would you draft Durant or Curry first?
I think Curry's a better player, and he brings the whole team up in that way.
Okay. If you had to rank every player in the league, where would you put Curry and where would you put Durant?
Oh, jeez.
Just take that. They're both probably in the top 5. So compare them with LeBron, Kawhi, Harden, and like Westbrook-ish, and maybe Anthony Davis. Those guys are the ones you would have to compare them with. Where would you put them?
I think Curry would probably be around 2 to 3, and Durant would be from 3 to 4.
All right, Cole. Who's better at basketball, Steph Curry or Kevin Durant?
Kevin Durant.
Who is more valuable to the Warriors, Steph Curry or Kevin Durant?
Stephen Curry.
Who would you rather start a team with, Steph Curry or Kevin Durant?
Kevin Durant.
If you had to rank all the players in the league, where would Durant be and where would Curry be?
Kevin Durant 3, Curry 5.
Hadi, who is a better basketball player, Steph Curry or Kevin Durant?
I'm gonna say Curry.
Who is more valuable to the Warriors, Steph Curry or Kevin Durant?
Curry.
Who would you rather start a team with, Steph Curry or Kevin Durant?
Curry.
If you had to rank all the players in the league right now, where would you put Curry and where would you put Durant?
Same as Artin. Curry 2 to 3, KD 3 to 4.
All right. As for me, I think Kevin Durant is the overall better basketball player. I think Curry is miles away more important and valuable to that basketball team. I think I'd definitely start a team with Curry first. And if I had to rank, I'd have Steph Curry maybe at number 1, definitely lowest number 2, and Durant 4 or 5. In terms of just like, not in terms of natural talent, but in terms of the players that are just like, the most important players for their teams into the league. I think Curry is definitely one of the two best players with LeBron. And on some nights, it looks like he's better as LeBron gets older. And then I'd have Durant with Harden and like Anthony Davis and that kind of stuff. So, Cole, were the only guy that really rode for Durant. Can you explain why?
In my opinion, Stephen Curry is in the perfect environment for him as a player with the current Golden State Warriors. How lucky if you're drafting a team, you're going to get a Klay Thompson as a secondary shooter who's knocked down, who can come off the bench and hit a three immediately like that. I don't think anyone else in the league is doing stuff that like any other team, in the league has like the kind of opportunities that Steph Curry needs. You have this one shooter who he can drive to the bucket, but not as well as most may think. So he's all he does is shooting the ball. If the team is pressuring him like to that extent, usually they have Klay Thompson as a second option, and that's why their team is so good. They have other options, stuff like that. I don't think. First of all, Kevin Durant can create a shot any which way. He can drive to the bucket. He's taller, more athletic. I could fit more pieces around him to make a better team.
All right. Just to refute that, to me, the numbers show it. All right. Steph Curry, 2 MVPs. Kevin Durant, 1 MVP. Steph Curry, 2 championships. Durant, 1 championship. Durant does have the Finals MVP. He gets that one. But how many championship teams was Kevin Durant the best and most important player clear-cut on? 0. How many championship teams was Steph Curry the best clear-cut player on? 1. And I say 1 because even though they kind of lucked out to a ring in 2015, the Cavs lucked out to the ring in 2016. In my opinion, the Cavs probably should have won in 2015. The Warriors should have won in 2016. So I would say that Steph Curry has proven that I don't need another MVP to win a championship. Kevin Durant never proved that. Kevin Durant never has stated that he's not a leader, and he likes how Steph is a leader. And I think you undervalue Steph's finishing and dribbling ability. I think behind Kyrie, he's the second best finisher and the second best, in terms of layup package, not in terms of dunking, and the second best dribbler in the league. Obviously the best shooter in the league. And he elevates his teammates. And I think Klay Thompson and Draymond Green are probably going to go down as the 2 greatest role players of all time beside Dennis Rodman, because they don't really do much outside of what they're asked to do. They don't create a lot for themselves, but they're great because the system that is revolving around Steph Curry, that Mark Jackson and Steve Kerr built around Steph Curry, is the best in the league because Steph Curry elevates everyone the way a LeBron James does and the way Kevin Durant couldn't do to Ibaka and Westbrook because he just never was the alpha gene. I think another thing that I really like about Curry that I don't like about Durant is Durant clearly struggles with being a villain. He hates it. You can tell. That's why he's on Twitter yelling at people. Steph Curry seems to love it. He slapped LeBron's ass after he hit a 3 in his face. He was laughing at Michael Beasley the other day. He seems to really embrace being the most hated person in the league. And I'm just partial to that because I love it that this little 6'2", mouse is just shitting on everyone. It's beautiful. Artin and Hadi, do you guys want to throw in why you guys think that Curry is better than Durant?
Stuff out of the way. All right. This season, I got these stats a couple days ago, by the way, just for the record. But this season, Curry's +10, Durant's +7. Curry has a net rating of 15.6. Durant has a net rating of 11.1. They have very similar usages. Curry's is at 30.1 and Durant is at 29.8. So usage is not a factor you can use to say one is better than the other. Minutes per game, Durant's playing 2 more minutes per game than Curry. So really, they're playing similar circumstances, but Curry's doing better. Curry's taking less shots a game, averaging more points. He's shooting better from 3, of course. He's averaging 5 rebounds a game, which I was pretty surprised by. You don't see that. Durant's averaging 7, which really is not a huge gap between them. This is what was crazy to me. When Durant goes on the court, their offensive rating increases by 5, which is pretty good. When Curry's on the court, their offensive rating increases by 14.5, which is insane. That's ridiculous. And finally, the Warriors have played 8 games without Durant this season. They've only lost 1 of them. And in that game, Curry also didn't play.
Yeah, I mean, Hadi, what do you got to say?
I mean, you guys have summed it up pretty well. I think, yeah, it's a lot of the, a lot of the intangibles, like how you said, Curry seems to be, yes, he has an attitude, but he's just, in my opinion, he's just more of a leader. He elevates his teammates much better than Durant. Durant has the defense on him. Of course, he's a great defender, but honestly, I don't know what I can add. Artin, you said it with the stats.
Cole, you got anything to say back? Because you kind of got hammered there. I want to give you a chance to.
I mean, your points are good. I feel Steph Curry, as I said before, he's put in such a great position. Like you said it yourself. Mark Jackson, Steve Kerr, they built that team around him. I don't know if Kevin Durant has had that. If Kevin Durant had a perfect team around him, I don't know. Maybe his stats would be different.
You don't think Kevin Durant has a perfect team around him right now?
Not for his benefit. Well, like benefits in terms of championships, but not in terms of the stats you're talking about. Because he's I don't know.
I get what you mean.
I feel like in most situations, Curry's their first option. And then Kevin Durant's the guy that, okay, when Curry's pressured, Kevin Durant, you go out and you make your buckets.
Yeah, I definitely see that.
That's his role on the team.
I definitely see that in the fact that when you watch the Warriors play with Curry and not Durant, they look like the Warriors. But when you watch the Warriors play with Durant and not Curry, they just look like the best team in the league, but a regular team. Like they play a lot of ISO and pick and roll, and Durant does a lot of ball handling, and he just creates for everyone else, sort of the way Harden does in Houston or LeBron does in Cleveland. And I think what makes it scary, what makes them unbeatable, is that when you have both of those things, where you have that insane motion offense with the crazy shooting and the ball movement and like all that stuff, mixed with one guy who can score literally whenever he wants, it's just a matter if the ball goes in or not. I mean, he doesn't have the mentality, but from a skill set standpoint, he's literally 7-foot Kobe. Like that's impossible to guard. And but I think what makes Steph so great is that when you look at those OKC teams, the names that were on them: James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Serge Ibaka, Enes Kanter, Steven Adams, Thabo Sefolosha when he used to be good, Roberson, Kendrick Perkins when he used to be good, Dion Waiters. There was a lot of really good players, but it seemed like they could never take that step. And a lot of people still believe that Thunder team was better than the Warriors, and they had the best player and possibly the two best players in that series. But Curry was just, he turned it on so, and so did Klay, I guess. They turned it on so badly, and Durant and Westbrook both shot 30% in the last two games, that it proved that the system built around Curry was better than the system built around Durant, which was a lot of ISO, a lot of Westbrook create, and then Durant create, and then Westbrook create, and then Durant create. So I think it's not like when LeBron went to Miami. Like he wasn't, Durant didn't leave a horrible situation for a great one. He left a really good one for a great one, and even now he basically just plays a Harrison Barnes' role, except with way more importance on it. So I don't know. I feel like
efficiency.
Yeah, like I think Steph Curry is the better player because I think he's proved that he can lead a team to a ring. But I think it's pretty hard to argue that Durant isn't the more talented player and the better overall player, which is why, Hadi, I want to ask, why do you think that Steph Curry is a better basketball player than Kevin Durant? Because you're the only one that said he was.
Yeah, in terms of, I was kind of thinking more of, it's hard to explain, not in terms of necessarily simply like skill, and as you said, like Kevin Durant's the 7-foot Kobe, but it was just more in terms of, I don't know, I was thinking leadership. Elevating his teammates, and just when you see him on the floor, it's something it's hard to explain. I just when you play basketball and you're playing and you just see those things that are not recorded, but you notice them when they play, and you see I apologize, I'm not making sense right now, but it's just,
you're just talking about like intangibles, and
yeah.
And I think I got you, and I think that's why I want to include the most important thing, but or most valuable. But I definitely what you're saying. You weren't counting just physical and or physical and fundamental aspects. All right, so Artin, you had Curry.
Yep.
You you and Hadi and I all had Curry as a top 2 possible player. I am at number 1. It's still hard for me to put him over LeBron because LeBron's LeBron. But why do you think that Curry is a top 2 player? Like, why do you put him over Kawhi? I guess Kawhi's injured, so why do you put him over Westbrook, Anthony Davis, Giannis, all these freaks of nature? Why do you have this little man way at the top with the most physically dominating player to ever play basketball?
Well, when you make rankings like that, I feel like there's a difference between saying, all right, who's the most talented player and who's the best player, right? Because when I think the most talented player, I'm thinking purely skill alone. But when you're making a ranking of who's the best players, one of the main reasons LeBron's always at the top is because of how he brings up everyone else, right? And so you have to consider a lot of other things when you're kind of making a ranking like that. Steph, to me, is the heart of that team, right? That team. And Nicole, you're saying it's because the system is built around him, but I think it's more him kind of carrying the team in a way, not necessarily carrying like they need him, but carrying like he's willing to kind of take all the responsibilities and really go with it. And I think that's something Kevin Durant doesn't have. He doesn't have that kind of initiative to go, all right, well, I'm going to try and get everyone involved here. He's more just kind of focused on winning the game, scoring his points, stuff like that. And so I think not a lot of players have that. I see LeBron has that. Even Kawhi, who I love so much, I don't know if he has that total mindset where he wants.
Kawhi doesn't have that mindset. He doesn't.
Kawhi doesn't need it though, because the system is built around Steph in Golden State, but Steph needs to be great for it to work, which is why it's crazy that he does it every night. The system is not built around Kawhi. It's pretty much built around Popovich as being a genius, and then Kawhi just kind of like operates within it. But I know what you're saying, and I mean I look at it, and like I said, Kawhi wants to address that. I understand the team is built around Curry, but if he wasn't as good as he is, you can't build a team around him, right? And so I would say that's a good reason to say that. Okay, we got to move on. I think that was good. Quickly,
can I just say though, why has Durant been so angry lately?
He can't be the villain. He's scared of being a villain. Curry loves it. I think Draymond likes it even more than Curry. Klay's always kind of fried, so I don't even know if he notices. But Durant, it's getting to him. I think the scary thing is, I think if there's any tough guys that come along in the NBA, I think in a couple years when they're older, and if I think Joel Embiid might be able to get in his head if that team gets to the finals, because he seems he doesn't like to be not Mr. Poster Child for the NBA like he used to be when LeBron was the villain.
Like, come on, he came into the season with what, 2 technical fouls? Now he has 10 this season.
Yeah, it's gonna come back and bite him in the ass in the playoffs when he gets suspended like Draymond.
Exactly.
All right, moving on. We're gonna do something a little more fun. We're gonna everybody. We know what the new All-Star thing is. If everyone, do you guys all have the All-Star rosters? Can you bring them all up?
Yep.
We're gonna make. Me and Cole are gonna pick for Team LeBron. Hadi, you and Artin are gonna pick for.
You ready, Artin?
Team.
Yeah, I'm ready.
We're for Team Steph, and we're gonna go under the assumption that it is a snake draft. So it's, and that's not just because Durant's in it. We're gonna do, it's so we're gonna get first pick, then you get the next 2, then next two, because LeBron did get first pick. Let me just bring them up real quick. All right, so the first 10 picks have to be starters. Or the first 8 picks, sorry. So, Cole, who do you want to take with the first pick?
I feel like it's got to be between Giannis and KD, but I feel like we got to go Giannis because he's young. What is it? It's his second All-Star game. So he's going to be coming out there with a lot of energy. He wants to score as many points. He's actually going to try. I feel like KD has done this quite a bit now. It's his 9th game or whatever. So he's just going to kind of coast.
Yeah, I agree. So we're going to take Giannis first. Okay, Hadi and Artin, give me one each.
You've made a huge mistake because you disallowed Steph to play with KD. Instead of taking KD, you've let the chemistry happen. So I think we're gonna take KD.
Okay.
Do you agree, Hadi?
Is our pick?
100%.
It's an obvious pick for us next.
You guys got 2 though. Then we have 2.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
we
that's
have another
correct.
one. Yeah. Okay. My bad. Sorry.
What are you saying?
We have a point guard. We have a small forward.
You know, I'm thinking of a particular center who trusts the process.
Oh, okay. Never
Yeah,
mind.
you made a
Good.
mistake.
I'm thinking here, let me just explain why. So are you good with Joel?
Yeah, sure. And then, but
I'm just thinking
give a good
for- yeah.
explanation though, because there's some other good centers in this.
No, it's true. I'm just
No,
saying,
bro. I
this is
already
his
heard
first-
the name Joel Embiid. So
No, I know, I'm good. This is his first All-Star. I think he's gonna go out. He's gonna have a lot of fun. I think it's gonna help our team.
All right.
all right. Can I step in this one so we get the easy?
Of course, I already know. I already know what
We're
you're
gonna
saying.
pick James Harden and Anthony Davis.
Hey!
Because you've now given us Giannis, James Harden, and LeBron, 3 ridiculously good like guard forward thingies. So I mean, we're pretty much set. And then we also have Anthony Davis, who is he's like Kevin Garnett without the crack and the jail time. So
And he's got a 3-point shot.
and he's got a 3-point shot too. So I don't know. You guys can have your process. You know I'm a huge Sixers fan, but LeBron, Giannis, Harden, Davis. Come on.
Jesus Christ.
All right, you guys can pick from DeMar DeRozan. Sorry, that was a stupid one. Kyrie Irving, and who's the other guy?
DeMarcus.
And and Boogie.
D. Cuzzy.
You guys go pick.
So we have 2 picks?
Yeah, you got 2 picks for those 3.
All right.
We'll take the last guy.
Hadi, even if some people, including yourself, think it might be the wrong decision,
I know where you're going to
Don't do it, bro.
and we have a point guard already, so we're taking DeMar DeRozan, right?
Okay.
All right, we're taking DeMar DeRozan, and then I mean it has to be Cousins, right?
Yes.
yeah.
That's a fantastic idea.
Which leaves us with the drama.
So I think what Artin and Hadi just did was sabotage our own team by making Kyrie and LeBron sit on the same bench. So I respect it. But from a talent standpoint, our lineup is now Kyrie Irving, James Harden, LeBron James, Giannis, Anthony Davis.
All right, well,
Versus-
you kind of threw this on us. We weren't prepared for this.
Steph Curry, DeMar DeRozan, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, and Boogie Cousins. So it's just the swole big guys versus all like and Steph, and then all like the little finesse players on the other side, and Giannis.
I love how on the All-Star page, if anyone goes to see this on NBA.com, All-Star page roster, it shows all their accolades. You got Steph Curry, 5-time All-Star, 2-time Kia NBA MVP. You got LeBron, 14-time All-Star, 4-time Kia NBA MVP. And then you got DeMar DeRozan, full 4-time All-Star, Toronto's all-time leading scorer.
Yeah, you say that like he's not.
That's
the whole
the guy that's gonna
franchise.
lead them to the finals this year, though. Apparently, so God bless. Okay,
Okay.
now we got to do the reserves. So we get first pick again because it like kind of carries over. We can now pick from LaMarcus Aldridge, Jimmy Butler, Karl Anthony Towns, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson, Dame Lillard, Bradley Beal, John Wall, Kristaps Porzingis, Victor Oladipo, Al Horford, Kevin Love, and Kyle Lowry. All right, Cole, who are we taking first? I'm kind of inclined to take Kat, but I also really love, I love Jimmy, man. Jimmy's been playing amazing, so I don't know. Who do you want?
Personally, I was going to go with Kat or Russ.
Oh,
But
I
feel
forgot
like-
about Russ. We should definitely take Westbrook.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, he's the best. Like, I like Jimmy B, but we already have LeBron and Giannis, and like subbing out Kyrie for Westbrook is just not fair. So let's do that. We're gonna
Yeah.
take Russell Westbrook as our 6th man, like Lou Will.
So are we starting over now? We do our pick, or do you guys have 2?
You guys have 2.
No, we have 2, yeah.
Okay, all right, Hadi. We don't have an actual power forward.
Yeah. That's okay. There's still some good.
Small.
There's only 2.
All right,
There's,
we could
there's
take
a lot.
Kristaps. We could take
Mm.
Aldridge, maybe. I don't want Draymond. I don't like Draymond. Also, I'd rather
Immediately playing
Funny, I'd
favorites.
rather die before we take Al Horford.
Oh,
I share that sentiment.
Al Horford. Okay, hold on, real quick. Can we talk about Al Horford? Al Horford might be the worst good player that's ever played basketball. Like
his shot.
it's
He's
so
just
bad. Like I don't
so
know how
bad.
he's good. Like it makes no sense. Artin, I know you have a pretty fiery hatred for the guy. What do you guys?
I may be biased, but I think he doesn't deserve to be in the NBA. I think he's hardly a D League player. I think he should go back to high school.
Who's gonna start? Who would start? LiAngelo Ball or Al Horford in the NBA Finals?
I can't think of a single player that I would start Al Horford over. And here he is an all-star for like the 5th time or something like that.
He's just like the worst good basketball player that's ever touched the bat. Like it makes no sense how he's good. It just doesn't. I mean, I'm gonna go with the stats. Apparently he's great, but I don't know. He's something else. He's horrible. He looks like he shouldn't be there. He does not look comfortable at all playing basketball.
Hadi, I'm thinking Kristaps. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I agree, Kristaps.
Alright, we'll take Kristaps. Then we got one more. I'm thinking like a backup point guard. Huh?
Draymond.
Kyle Lowry.
No way.
Fat Lowry.
Okay, Artin, what do you think? What do you think of Dame? Do you think he's gonna snap because he's finally in the All-Star, or what do you think?
He's so angry that like he barely got in that he's just gonna start like punching people. So we'll take Dame.
Okay,
Cole. Did they take Jimmy?
No.
Okay, you want to take? Okay, I want to take a two people thing right now. So you're down to take Jimmy and Kat? Do you want to take John Wall and Beal, or do you want to take KlayMond?
KlayMond, let's go.
Because I want Klay on our team, bro. Like,
yeah,
I just
do.
want him
so
to
bad.
Just be Klay, just all fried and like you can tell he's not fully there. Like he doesn't really know what's going on. I think we need that type of relaxed energy on a bench with like Kyrie and LeBron. Like I think he could just be like, "Hey, relax, guys. Like I got the Woods in the back. We're all gonna
he only hits threes on and off the court.
Yeah, you already know. All right, we're gonna take KlayMond. Like this is like how it's a playground style thing. It's like we want Klay, but like Draymond's the weird kid who's like we're a package. So we're gonna have to take Draymond with him, even though like he's like the worst like for an All-Star game. Like he's gonna come in and like hustle.
He's the weirdest style.
Nobody cares about in an All-Star game. So yeah, we'll take them.
All right, Hadi.
Yeah.
Jimmy and Kat.
I was just thinking that. Yeah.
Okay, all right, we'll take Jimmy and
Kat's off. Kat doesn't have to play terrible D.
Whatever, we'll take him.
Okay, so
can we take Klay again?
What?
Let's take Klay again.
2 Klay, like 3 Klays, like in Blacktop.
All-time Klay. It's
Right,
15, 16 Klay and Klay.
Who doesn't know about it? The best thing to do when you're playing Blacktop, you get all-time Klay, historic Klay, and regular Klay. It's impossible to guard. They're all really ridiculously good at basketball. It's funny. Yeah.
No,
Cole, they haven't taken Porzingis yet, so can we just take
Porzingis?
Porzingis?
No, we have Porzingis.
Yeah, I thought they took the first.
No, we took Porzingis.
Let's take Porzingis.
Let's take Oladipo. You want to take Oladipo and either Wall or
That's a lot of guards.
Okay, let's take. Well, the only big man left is Al Horford and LaMarcus Aldridge.
No, there's Kevin Love.
No. We're taking Kevin Love just to show like that we care.
Yeah, man.
We're taking Kevin Love.
Everyone hates Kevin Love, and he's still an All-Star every year.
Okay, do you want to take Love and we'll take Love and who do you want? Do you want Oladipo or do you want Aldridge or do you want what's his face?
John Wall.
John Wall. Okay, we're taking John Wall.
Yeah.
All right, we're taking Porzingis. We're taking John Wall and Kevin Love, the 2 most loved players by their teams in the league. Did you guys hear that the Wizards did a players-only meeting and like everyone just got more mad at each other?
No.
Yep.
That's incredible. All right.
Even though John Wall loved them all Rolexes for Christmas.
Yeah, he's gonna ask for them back. Okay, so you're left, guys, with the incredible selection of Bradley Beal, Victor Oladipo, Al Horford, Kyle Lowry, and LaMarcus Aldridge.
That is an odd starting lineup.
That starting lineup wouldn't beat like the 3 best teams in the league, low-key. Like, I'm not taking that team over the Warriors or the Rockets.
Beal and Aldridge?
I'm thinking Beal for sure.
Or
yeah.
Oladipo. I think Oladipo might be better than Beal. I think
You think we
Oladipo was
need-
almost for sure better than Beal now that I think about it.
Okay, I'm good with Oladipo. So Oladipo and Aldridge?
I'm only saying Aldridge because like I lost count of how many big men and how many guards we have. So I'm trying to keep it even.
Yeah, you guys have a lot of guards. But you
Okay,
also
so
have
yeah.
3 like 7'5" guys. So I don't know.
Well, I don't want Love or Horford, so let's take Oladipo and Aldridge.
Okay,
Okay.
then Cole, we're taking Beal and Lowry just so they have to deal
Oh
with Al
my
Horford.
No!
We're taking Love.
Like I'm okay with dealing with Fat Lowry. We're gonna like before the game we're gonna go to Lowry's house and like chop his knees so Ben Simmons can play instead. But
Yeah, come on. How did Ben Simmons not make it in Kyle Lowry?
I actually want to talk about that. I'm going to talk about that after.
The tiebreaker was thickness. The tiebreaker was ass size. And
I'm going to talk
like,
about
you're
that
not
after.
gonna talk
Okay,
about
save
that,
that for
bro.
after. Save that for after.
Ben Simmons has a giant ass. What are you saying?
To finish it off, we're going to take Kevin Love, and Al Horford is going to...
No, we already took Kevin
We're gonna
Love.
drop Al Horford. We're dropping him.
Yeah, we're going to drop him. He's on the waiver. He's on the waiver.
Yeah, you dropped. You're gonna pick up
He's been
Robert
relegated.
Covington off waivers because he's a 3-and-D player.
His smile's
Well,
so
that's your
disappointing.
loss. That's your loss. Okay, now here's what I wanted to talk about. As we know, the reserves are chosen by the coach vote, not by the weighted rankings that the stars are chosen from. So here I wrote down all the changes that would have been made if it wasn't the coach's decision, if it was the weighted score. First up, Lowry would not have been an all-star. Ben Simmons would have been an all-star. What do we think of that one?
That's correct,
Should be happening.
bro. What does Kyle Lowry do that Ben Simmons can't do besides shoot threes and be fat?
It's not even that. He's a better all-star candidate. Kyle Lowry's
plays
not a
better
good all-star.
defense.
Kyle Lowry is a better leader on a better team, more important player on a better team,
I don't
Both
care,
those
to be
washed
honest,
backcourt
for an
guys,
all-star reserve.
they're both carried by OG Anunoby. So I don't want to hear it.
Shut
Jakob
up.
Pertl and
Shut
OG
up.
Anunoby.
OG is solid.
DeLon Wright is better than Kyle Lowry. I'd put DeLon Wright.
DeLon Wright's the best player in the NBA, and it's a travesty he wasn't an all-star this year. He had around 7,000 fan votes. I looked. Okay. Next one. Karl Anthony Towns wouldn't be an all-star. Paul George would be an all-star in his place.
Stupid. Paul George, he shoots like 40%. Like I'm like half of us could probably do that. Like, well, there's only 4 of us, so everyone but Artin could definitely do that in the NBA.
I'm good. I'm a good shooter.
Anyway, keep going.
Okay. Well, for West guards, there's a couple changes. Dame and Jimmy Butler, neither of them would be all-stars. In their place, it would be Ginobili and Chris Paul. Ginobili, obviously, he had the messy boost.
I'd take Chris Paul over Dame Lillard because Dame Lillard is just like a good player on a mid team, and Chris Paul is like a really good player on like one of the best teams. But I mean, it would have been cool to see Ginobili, but like Jimmy Butler gets disrespected so bad, man. That guy's like top 10 in the league. Like he's so good, but like he just doesn't run very fast. So like Westbrook or like Curry, so he doesn't get a lot of hype.
Well, any one of those people could have played over Horford, so
yeah, I agree. They gotta get rid of the
that's
conference
true.
thing, so Al Horford never makes it again.
No, it needs to. Okay, why do you even have East and West when now they just take a pool out of everyone?
Yeah.
You should have just had the top votes, or if you want to do reserves, pick the reserves or whatever. But it should have been whoever gets the top votes. Because come on, that's who the public wants to see in the game.
Yeah,
You don't
like,
wanna watch
to
Al
me,
Horford.
like no,
Or Kyle Lowry.
the players don't take the game seriously. So like, why does it matter?
No, it's not like baseball. Baseball, there's influence on the All-Star game.
the problem is Ginobili gets a million votes from people in Argentina who don't know what basketball is because Messi posted about him. That's the problem.
Bro, you act like Kyle Lowry didn't just get the same thing from people in Canada.
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry deserves to be an all-star.
He's averaging 16 points and 6 assists.
Yeah, but it's not about
stats.
stats.
All right. Let's keep it moving. Keep it moving.
We're gonna finish it off with our role player of the week. Courtney Lee for the New York Knicks. He's been a pretty good. I remember he used to play. He played on that Finals Magic team. He's always been pretty good, but he's been really good for the Knicks this year. Actually, he's been a surprise. He averages around 14 points, 2 threes a game, just under 2 threes a game, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal and a half. And he's just overall been like a good defender. He just does everything the team needs him to be, and like he was a lot of the reason for the team's early success is because he is still a role player, but role players play really well at home, and the Knicks have had a really home heavy first half of the season, or 2017 part of the season, and when they were really good. So I would say that he's a solid guy. I'd like to see him traded maybe to a team that needs role players. Like a San Antonio, younger role players, of course, like a San Antonio or a Cleveland. And I think he's been great this year. He's just everything you want in a modern role player. Does it all and doesn't need the ball to be great. Artin, what do you think of Courtney Lee?
I've seen one Knicks game this year against the Raps. He played really well, hit a bunch of threes. They almost beat us because of him alone. And Tim Hardaway played really well. I remember. That's all I got. I don't know anything about Courtney Lee.
Hadi, what do you think about Courtney Lee?
No, same thing. I mean, looking at his stats, he's scoring. His scoring is up there recently. Shoots threes. His percentages are good. Yeah, just a good role player.
Cole, what do you think about Courtney Lee?
Well, me being the fantasy connoisseur that I am this year, I scooped Courtney Lee right from the draft. You look at his last 4 games: 20 points, 4 rebounds, or 5 rebounds, 16 points, 18 points, 18 points. He's gonna get you points. He's a good role player in that regard. Shoots a decent percentage. Not so great in the plus and minus, but again, just a role player. Good pickup.
All right. Finally, to finish it off, so our hot takes for the week. My hot take is that there is a 75% chance that if the New Orleans Pelicans get the 6th seed, they'll go to the Western Conference Finals. Artin, what's your hot take for the week?
My hot take of the week is that Horford's out of the league in 1 month.
Hadi, what's your hot take for the week?
My hot take is that in 1 to 3 years, on the Sixers, if Joel and Ben Simmons continue to develop, Joel will actually push Ben Simmons out of the limelight, and that might force him to leave or a trade, something like that.
I've been thinking about that because Ben Simmons sort of strikes me as the type of guy that would leave like the team that drafted him. Like he reminds me of like a Durant or a LeBron. Well, Embiid's like the hero of Philadelphia. I don't think he'll ever leave unless he gets hurt. Yeah. Cole, what's your hot take?
My hot take is that the Miami Heat are going to battle past the Toronto Raptors in the second round of the NBA playoffs this year to go to a grimy 7 games against the Cleveland Cavaliers, where they will end up losing, and the Cleveland Cavaliers will go to the NBA Finals. Because the stats show veterans, which the Cavs are mostly made up of, are play better in the playoffs, whereas the Celtics, who will not make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, are made up of mostly rookies and young players who are getting tired and will not play well.
All right. So before we go, it's a very special starting 5 podcast day. If we don't do one next week, or if the different people aren't here, certain people aren't here, the Super Bowl is coming up. And I know we are a basketball podcast, but the Super Bowl is bigger than everything that is with basketball because it draws like 1 billion people. So we're all going to make our Super Bowl picks. I know some of us are more well-versed in football than not. Most of these are going to be just guesses. Me, I'm a casual football fan. My dad is really into the Eagles. I'm really into the Sixers. I want to see the Eagles win, but I also know that Tom Brady is like Michael Jordan if Michael Jordan didn't get his dad killed because he was in debt. So I'm going to go Pats 31, Eagles 21. You guys don't have to make score predictions if you don't know that much about football. Artin.
I know next to nothing about football, but even I know it's very hard to bet against Tom Brady and the Patriots. I give it to them.
All right, Hadi. Fire.
Much like Artin, I know zero about football. Just to say something different, I'm going to go with Eagles, who seem to be the underdog.
Yeah, they got a great defense, but the quarterback's hurt. Cole.
I just want to thank you guys for having me on the show today or tonight. Great time. Had a great time. Lots of different talks. I loved it. So I'm just like a probably below average casual NFL fan. But as everyone said, Tom Brady, best to ever do it. Coach Belichick, best to ever do it. They will win by a touchdown, hands down.
Yeah, just Hadi and Artin. Just to give it a frame of reference, it'd be like if Real and like Barca played in like a Champions League final, and like either like Messi or like Ronaldo didn't play, and like one of them didn't play for the team. Like they're basically missing their best player and their most important player on their team, the Eagles. So it's hard to count them in. Anyway, that's what's gonna do. That's what's gonna do it for the Starting Five podcast today. We got one more guy out. Hopefully, we'll get a whole starting five next time. I had a good time. I'm sure all the guys had a good time. Follow everyone on Twitter and Instagram.
Yep.
Put them in the YouTube description so we can get some clout up. Shout out to Elliot Wilson from Tidal for liking the tweet with the podcast in it. Put us on. We need to do the interview with Drake about the Raptors, where I tell him that you need to tell Casey to get fired.
It's a tree. It's a tree.
Yeah. No forest. All right. That's it. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.